Okay, so it's been a month. I've made 30 mushrooms and we got one more to go. So gonna turn this last one. We're gonna use some wood that my uncle gave me actually, so let's dig that out. I'm gonna use that. Not that. Oh, I don't use this. Let's turn this last mushroom and finish off March Mushroom Madness. So for the base, we're gonna use walnut? No, I think it's locust. Locust? It's probably whatever one of the plagues was. And, I'm gonna use some plum. Never turned plum. See if it's as delicious as the fruit. So I know the question you're all asking, and that is why? And I don't know why. I don't know why I decided to do March Mushroom Madness. I don't know why I thought that turning 31 mushrooms in March was a good idea. Other than the fact that I really like alliteration, and March Mushroom Madness just made sense to me. But it didn't make a lot of sense because I was at Workbench Con for the first few days in March, and then I was extremely tired after Workbench Con, so I took a couple of days to just relax and rest and chill out on the couch. So the first time that I actually got in front of the lathe, not behind the lathe, no, not beside the lathe, definitely in front of the lathe, was like the 8th of March. Now, that's pretty far behind. So I really had to get my butt in gear when I was making these mushrooms, and I actually didn't know if I was gonna finish. Because not only did I need to make 31 mushrooms in March, I also decided it was a really good time to build a table for my CNC and put that together and test that, which kinda took a week. And at the end of the day, when I was done making a table and building a CNC, I didn't really feel like turning a mushroom. So I think I ended up turning 31 mushrooms in like 2 weeks, which maybe means next year I should do 62 mushrooms for March Mushroom Madness. You know, would that mean the following year I'd need to do 93? This just seems excessive. I'm not doing that. Nope, that's not happening. Not happening. We're gonna maybe stick with 31, because that was still pretty manageable. I mean, it takes about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours to turn one mushroom, which it's a good amount of time, but it's also a doable amount of time where you can kind of turn one out at the end of the day, and it's a nice, rewarding project to do. You know how sometimes you get in the middle of a project and it takes weeks or months and you just get stuck and you need a quick win, a victory, something that you can just do and be done with and have a finished piece in your hands. That's what these mushrooms are to me, where they're not only pretty and gorgeous and I get to experiment with a lot of different wood species that I might not normally use, but the fact that every time I make one and it's a success, because they're not all successes, it's definitely a win and makes me quite happy and joyful, especially when they have a really good pop. But I will say the pop is actually one of the hardest parts, or is actually the hardest part in turning these mushrooms, because we're talking thousandths of an inch, like millimeter, sub-millimeter tolerances between it having an amazing pop or just being a loose lid. And let me tell you, I've turned quite a few loose lids, and it's rather unfortunate, but when you get them that have that really good pop, it's just an amazing feeling. So I will say I definitely learned a lot this month making all of these mushrooms. I learned a lot about different species of woods. I got to try out a bunch of wood that I've never worked with before, which was rather fun. And I finally got to turn some solid resin mushrooms. I turned one pocket mushroom in my normal style, and I also made a couple of little pendants, which I think are adorable and cute. And I also got to make a couple of sets of earrings, which was a whole new adventure for me, and one I think I'm gonna do more of. The funny thing is, you would think the smaller the mushroom, the less time it would take. But unfortunately, that's just not true. Some of these little ones actually took longer than it did for me to make a big pocket mushroom. There's just no room for error on these tiny little mushrooms, and you could really explode it pretty quickly if you touch it the wrong way. I said what I said. So there it is, my completed March Mushroom Madness project challenge. Self-inflicted misery. So thanks for checking out this video and watching me make a mushroom to finish off March Mushroom Madness. Most of these mushrooms are going to be available for purchase on my website at HewmanMade.ca. There's links down in the description. So get your hands on one while it lasts, because they're all one of a kind. But if you do miss out on the one you want, just let me know, send me a message, and hopefully I'll be able to make one specifically for you. Because why not? Everybody wants a mushroom, right? Be part of March Mushroom Madness, and have a wonderful day. See you next time.